Monday, Tom Brady addressed why he decided to unretire after only a month away from football. Brady said, "I knew my body physically could still do what it could do, and obviously I have a love for the game. I know I don't have a lot left. I really do. I know I'm at the end of my career. I wish you could go forever, but it's just not, and football comes at too high of a cost now." Very telling comments. Shannon, do you believe this is Brady's last year?
No. Brady doesn't. Brady loves the attention, and he just can't let it go because think about it. He retired for 40 days, and it looks like this was a sham retirement to begin with because from all the tea leaves and all the arrows that's been pointing, it was only to retire so he and Sean Payton can team up in Miami and start the process all over again. This was never really an actual retirement because of injury or I need to be there for my family. My family's always been there for me. Now it's my turn to repay the favor and be there for them. It was never about that. That was just a sham. From everything that I've read and it makes perfect sense now that he and Sean Payton was trying to team up to get to Miami. But Brian Flores threw, for lack of a better word, Skip, a monkey wrench into that program and got that blown up because of the lawsuit that he filed. Skip, when I look, I'll say this. I believe had Tom Brady been allowed to behave in the manner in which he's behaved in the last 2 years, for 20 years in New England, I believe he would have retired. I believe Tom feels like he's missed out on some things because he's like, man, yes, we won. But I believe there's other ways that you could also win, because I did it. I believe the one championship that he won in Tampa, he had more fun winning that one championship, Skip, than the 6 that he won in New England. And he says, I want more of this as opposed to that. Now, he loved the structure that the Patriot way provides. He loved the attention to detail. He loved the emphasis on situation. But what he doesn't love is the thumb that Coach Belichick had on everybody's head and, all this thing. And so what I'm seeing is that a Tom Brady that's trying to shed a perception that we have of him. And he's like, I ain't like that. I like to have fun. I like to joke. Just the guy in New England never gave me an opportunity. But Skip, he didn't break any news talking about, well, I know I'm close to the end. Yeah, bro, you're 45. We know you're closer to the end than the beginning. But I just think because he's still playing at a high level, Skip, I still think I know he still enjoys the game. He loves the game. Do I see him this being his final year? No. Could I see him playing another year or two? Absolutely.
By the way, just quick point of order. I think you heard about Tom and Sean Payton going to Miami. You heard it here first from me, correct? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, just for the record.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you said it, and then the more I started reading, I was like, hold on, Skip, this thing was for real.
It was really for real.
They were, like my kids used to say, I used to tell my kids, y'all in cahoots trying to beat me at Monopoly. And they're like, Daddy, what you mean? Y'all conspiring. They were conspiring to end up in Miami.
That is correct.
So this was a sham retirement from the beginning. So we can't say retirement, Skip, because this was a sham retirement from the beginning.
I told you from the beginning he was retiring from Tampa, not from football. He wanted to get out from under B.A., as in Bruce Arians, and in the end, when it came full circle back, I also believe he made it clear to San Francisco, if you want me, I'll be there. I'll finish my fairy tale career back home in San Francisco where I began in San Mateo. And obviously the Shanahans, both your old coach Mike and the current coach Kyle, said no to Tom Brady, I believe, for a second time. So then he was remotivated to finish out with the Buccaneers, but only if they would kick B.A. upstairs. And as you know, oh, you'll come back and play with us? Sure, we'll figure this one out. And they figured it out because they kicked him right upstairs. Okay, so he came back, and yet he made 2 very significant statements to me yesterday, or that I heard yesterday, and that was, the first was, it was a very bitter ending to last season. Well, I believe that he believed that B.A. was a fly in the ointment, that they were having a harder and harder time overcoming his destruction of the game plan that Byron Leftwich and Tom would put together every week, and that he would come in with a red pen and red line through X number of plays to take them out of a game plan that Tom and Byron really loved, because he had to assert his will and his authority and his dominance over said game plan because he's Bruce Arians. So I believe that Tom looks back on how the season unfolded and felt like they just couldn't quite overcome Bruce Arians in many ways. They fell into the hole against the Rams. Tom, obviously, and with a lot of help from his friends, scored 24 unanswered points to get it back to a tie game. And then they had an incredible, a mind-blowing defensive breakdown in the end on a blitz that didn't fire. I don't know what Murphy Bunting was doing on the blitz. He came out of the slot, and it's like he just stopped cold and let Matt Stafford take a look and say, well, wait a second, Cooper Kupp's running a dummy route down the middle of the field, and he's alone on Antoine Winfield, who was playing him to hook up at like 10, 12 yards, and you know what happened? Ball game happened, because they suddenly had a 44-yard completion and a walk-off field goal. And I think that ate Brady alive. So he's saying, we still have enough firepower. We can go win this thing next year. And yet, I got to tell you, Shannon, I've been obviously a student of Tom Brady all along. I thought these were the strongest, you might even say most damning quotes when it comes to how much longer he's going to play that I've ever heard come out of Tom's mouth. I don't think he was playing with these quotes. I don't think he was trying to string you along or set you up for another heroic comeback next year and the next year. I'll take these to the bank when he said, I know I don't have a lot left. I really do. He said, I know I'm at the end of my career. Well, that's a strong signal that this year would be his last year. And I'm shocked by that, because I thought he did have another couple of years. You can argue back to me that what his father once said will hold true in the end. His father once said, you're going to have to put a straitjacket on him and drag him off the football field in the end. And that may be correct. But it sounds like he's back into the perspective of football's just coming at too high a price at this point in my career. And then he went back to the kids. You know, my kids are getting older, and it's just getting harder and harder to miss these things, as in soccer games and rehearsals and
really, Skip?
Yeah, whatever.
So it's really hard now, even though you've missed a ton of them, and you could have been there this year. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna put it off one more year. I know it's getting harder and harder, but I'm gonna do another year. Come on, bruh. This is all about you. This ain't about no kids. It's been about you. And it's okay. And I understand, because I've been a professional athlete, and I understand how selfish you have to be. And you have to miss a lot of said things. Recitals, in soccer practice, in football practice, in music. I get all of that.
Yeah.
But, bro, spare me this.
Okay, but you can question the credibility of said sources, but I've seen in a lot of these magazines that my wife Ernestine likes to call rag magazines, but they're chock full of stories about how upset Giselle is with Tom for coming back out of quote-unquote retirement. And I don't doubt that she's upset.
Skip, you remember me and you had a conversation, and Ernestine said, well, stop bringing Giselle. Stop putting all this on Giselle.
Yeah,
it's him.
she did.
And I said, that's just the way. Yeah, she's upset because he promised her, what was it, 2009, 2010, baby, only a few more years. A few more years turned into like 13, 14 years. And she's like, Tom, bruh.
Well, yet he can sell back to her, I'm completely healthy. I didn't have any head injuries. I didn't have any injuries to speak of. I'm like 99% healthy. And we're going to have a really good team, and we'll shore up the offensive line, and just let me do this one more time. The problem with this strategy is he cares so much about not just winning, but winning it all, that he's put a lot of pressure, a lot of eggs in one basket. Oh, let's just go win another Super Bowl, and then I'll walk into the sunset. Well, as you well know, ain't that easy, right?
It is not. Everybody wants that John Elway, win the Super Bowl, retire, or the Strahan, or the Jerome Bettis. Jerome Bettis had the best one because he's from Detroit. Steelers won the Super Bowl in Detroit, and he said the bus stops here.
Yep.
Yeah, you talk about isolated incidents. You talk about, what, 3 times in the history of the game that you got Hall of Fame players, their last game is the Super Bowl, and it's like, okay, I've had enough. Good, I'm riding off into the sunset. I mean, can it get any more storybook for Brady than what it's already been to win your 8th Super Bowl and says, you know what, I'm done? But, Skip, how do you walk away? Because nobody's three-peated. Tom Brady's always trying to put more nails in a coffin. He already has, like, look, I'm the greatest quarterback. I've got 100 nails in this coffin. If I can come back and make it a three-peat, I just put 5,000 nails in a coffin that can never be opened. So that's going to be his mindset. Now he's got to convince Giselle, baby, I promise you, this is the last one. This is my last year. Year 24 will be my last. I just want a three-peat, and then he three-peats, and then what, Skip?
Well,
you and I both know if the Bulls would have, that's what Michael Jordan was most upset about, is that they wouldn't allow them to go for the four-peat.
Yeah.
That's what he's like, just give us one chance. If it doesn't happen, you can blow it up. What's one extra year? We've given you 6 and 8. You can't give us 1 year to prove that we could do it again?
Okay, yet I've told you all along that Tom's ultimate argument back to Giselle has been, I just love playing football. I love competing.
Right.
And if I'm not risking my health, if I'm not risking the health of my brain, then...
But you are, though, Skip. You know, every time you step on that field, you...
Hey, I agree, but this guy has gotten this down to such a science that he's beating the system